So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to you all. And I believe that by participating in this webinar, we are in the right place and the right time. So together, let us accelerate the exchange of ideas. And I'm sure you will find new ideas in support of the SDGs through science. So we are three teachers from various schools going to walk you through this session. And Hima Simon of St. Columba School will lead the session. So I hand this over to Hima.
Good evening to everyone. So I am going to explain to you a few ways in which we, the team of science teachers, how we embed social justice in our science lesson. So to begin with, I start with the topic of water. So this is for class 6, age group 11 to 12. So we all know that water, it's an important resource. So when we talk about water, we teach them about the importance of water, the uses of water, how do we use water in our homes. And water pollution, as we all know, is contamination of water bodies usually as a result of human activities. And it is one of the global crises that we are facing these days. So after teaching the students about the importance of water and the problems caused by water pollution, we gave them a summer holiday project in which students were asked to visit a local water body and conduct observations and research about the quality of the water, causes of the pollution, how does this pollution affect the aquatic life, actions to be taken to reduce this water pollution. We also emphasized, thank you, ma'am. They made pictorial booklets by pasting pictures and added information in their own words. After this, a checklist was given to them to raise awareness about the harmful effects of water pollution. So in this, they wrote down the name of the water body, the nearest water body they visited, and what are the causes that leads to the water pollution of that particular water body, whether it's a lake or a river or a pond. What are the solutions what is the solution to reduce this water pollution? The children were asked to also write down a list of solutions or what action can be taken to reduce this water pollution. So I go to the next topic, next slide, ma'am. The next topic for class 5 was on food preservation. So in this lesson, we stressed on the importance of a balanced diet, the components of food, the nutrients present in the food. Also, the methods of food preservation. Example, we know there are many different ways to preserve the food: canning, vacuum sealing, pickling, salting, etc. So in this chapter, as a follow-up activity, we asked our students to bring wrappers of packaged food and read the information given on them. The list of ingredients and preservatives that we consume through these foods, are they healthy? Or do they contain the essential nutrients? What will be the end result of consuming these foods? We also stressed upon the deficiency diseases. What is the aftermath of having or consuming a diet that is deficient of these nutrients? How does it affect our country? Where do we stand globally when it comes to deficiency diseases? How many children in this country are affected by these malnutrition diseases? So all this was discussed with our students, and students became aware of their own nutritional intake, and they were encouraged to develop healthy eating habits. Next slide, ma'am. And this was a lesson on pollution. Class 6 students, they are very well aware of the different kinds of pollution. So today, as we know that plastic pollution is the major crisis that we are all facing. We are all trying to reduce the use of plastic, especially when we go to a market, we buy all these food and everything, we get it in a plastic packet. So how can we reduce the use of this plastic? So for this, we asked our students to make paper bags, and students very enthusiastically, they made paper bags, And these paper bags were distributed to the nearby vegetable vendors. So they made at least 20 to 25 paper bags per student. And it was given to these this vegetable vendors, and they used it to pack their food. Instead of using the plastic packets, they used these papers. So it is also recycling of these old newspapers. So that is how they tried, or they took action to reduce the plastic pollution in their surroundings. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Hima. So I'll take over from here. I'm Vinita Watson from St. Columba's School, and I'm going to speak on fiber to fabric and on reproduction. So fiber to fabric is a topic dealt with class 7, even class 6. And the learning outcomes out here are, we want the children to learn about different fabrics we get from animals and plants, and also to sensitize them as to the pain and the threat the animals undergo, correlate the human action as a consequence. So we could begin with, you see, fiber is attained from both plants and animals. Animal fibers, such as we get wool from the sheep, goat, rabbit, the llama, alpaca, camel, and the quality of the wool depends on the breed of the sheep. The quality is judged by the thickness, the length, shine, strength, color of the fiber. So let's talk about the pashmina. Pashmina is a fine, fluffy, light, and warm wool we get from Kashmir. It feels so warm and cozy and good to have a pashmina around you. But the question out here is, have we ever given it a thought as to how many Kashmir goats we may have tortured to flaunt ourselves around in that shawl? So likewise, we have the camel, the angora, rabbit. We do all this just to satisfy our greed. And we put the animals to risk, even to the verge of extinction. So out here, we rope in SDG 1, goal 15, SDG goal 15. Out here, SDG 1 is allied industries providing services to animal owners, which would benefit from reducing poverty. My second topic is on reproduction for class 8 and 9. So out here, the learning objective is increasing awareness for the need to reproduce. We need to reproduce. Okay. Providing for the continued existence of species. Importance of reproduction. So we could begin with, have you seen the young ones of different animals? How are kittens and puppies born? Do you think that these young ones look the same before they were born as they do now? Remember, there are two modes in which animals reproduce, that is sexual and asexual reproduction. So the fusion of the male and the female gamete is actually called the sexual reproduction. So an egg cell from the mother and the sperm cell from the father, they need to fertilize. So the new individual inherits characteristics from the mother and the father. So if you look at your sibling, you will see similar characteristics, right? In humans, each cell contains 23 chromosomes of a total of 46. 22 are autosomes. They look the same in both male and female. The 23rd pair, that is the sex chromosome, differ between the male and the female. So every egg has an X chromosome. XX, and the sperm has the XY. So if the sperm that fertilizes an egg has an X chromosome, the baby is a girl. And if a Y chromosome, the baby is a boy. So let's ponder over a few issues here related to our present societies, present issues in society. Why is the woman tortured in many homes? Even today, being made responsible for a baby girl or a boy when it is the man responsible. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying torture the man, right? She's tortured. She's made into a machine to keep reproducing. There is female infanticide, which is still prevailing and is a shameful fact. There's a matter to note also. The global gold prices and female infanticide in India are linked, meaning to say dowry. That's why few baby girls in India survive the first month of life. Here we talk about SDG Goal 5. Eliminate violence against women and girls. Gender equality is not only a fundamental human right, but a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. Thank you. I now hand you over to Abhishek.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much, Vinita ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. I'll not go into the details about how we are going to introduce the subject to our students, because we all know how to teach students. I will basically focus on one important thing, and that is how we can embed justice in our classroom. For example, I have taken one example over here, and the chapter is Air, 4 classes, 4 standard, where there are children of 9 to 10 years old. So after explaining these young children's the different properties of air, the importance in their everyday life, and about air pollution, what we can do is we can make them think and write something, come up with different ideas to make our world a happier place to live. So what we can do, for example, what I did in my class to embed social justice in this chapter was I showed them this picture, which you can all see on the screen, where we can see that the earth is very sad. Why? Because of air pollution which we are causing. So I made them think by asking 3 questions related to this picture. The 3 questions were, why does the earth look sad? So I am making young children to think what makes our earth feel sad. So obviously they will come up by looking at this picture, they will say, they will write that because of pollution produced by us from different vehicles, factories, and all those different types of pollutions by burning fossil fuels, we are making our earth sad. So they will know the cause of our earth condition, and that is because of no other but we human beings. So once they answer this question, then I ask them another question. What are the causes of this condition of the earth? So what is making our earth sad? Again, they will write because of our different activities. So once they know the cause of why our earth is sad and the condition of our earth, we are the ones who are responsible for that. Then the third question which I asked to them was, write 2 things that you want to do to make the earth happy again. So once they know these questions, they will now think that what can we do? So obviously some will come up, they will say planting trees, maybe some will come up with not using vehicle for short distances. And maybe some will come up with answers such as don't burn plastics. So these are the different critical, these are the things which students will think themselves, and they will realize it, and they will put it in writing. So this way I try to embed one of the social justice sustainable development goals, which is goal number 13, which talks about taking care of our climate and our earth. And I also gave them some project. Since we are now approaching towards our festival, I told them, instead of burning firecrackers, let us make lanterns, paper lanterns, and light our Diwali festival. So they are now doing different activities, and by doing all these activities, they know that by doing these things, we are making our earth more sustainable, and we are moving towards more sustainable developed nations. So I think due to shortage of time, ma'am, I think we will stop here only, because we have now only 11 minutes remaining in our hand. So I think we'll stop the slide over here, ma'am. Vinita, ma'am. Thank you. I'll stop the sharing. Now I'll hand over to Vinita, ma'am.
Hima?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, could you please take over?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So now I would like to open this session for questions. Have you been trying to have such conversations in your classroom? Did you find any lesson or concepts similar to what you teach in your school curriculum? If yes, then please share it in the chat box. Which class you teach and the topic that you found useful for your lesson planning. Do you have any examples for embedding justice that you would like to share in this group? So please, any questions regarding, you can put it in the chat box regarding this topic. Anyone? Any questions?
Would anyone like to share something? Make a comment?
Chemistry.
Hi, this is Christine coming from New York. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a chemistry teacher in high school. And so you can appreciate in secondary school, we have a lot of curriculum to get through. And when I teach them about pH and we use chemicals like this pH indicator, we have a competition where we put the indicator in water and then they blow into it with a straw, and the CO2 from their breath changes the pH of the water. And this becomes a climate lesson about acidification of our oceans. And I don't have to have a whole different unit to teach them about this very important social climate justice issue. It's right there as they're doing a little bit of easy chemistry. So I thought that's an easy thing that I would like to share with everybody, because we can make this indicator from plants. And this chemical is always used in our chemistry classrooms anyway. And so it's an easy way to make climate justice just part of a normal science lesson.
Thank you. That was really nice. Really, thank you. Would anyone else like to share?
Yes, ma'am. There is a question. Do we have to explain reproduction to class 10 students? Vinita, ma'am, you're muted.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Of course, we do have to explain the entire chapter, of course.
One more question. Is it important to teach children only in English in an English medium school in India?
Well, that depends on the management. That we can't answer. The management, it depends on the management what they want. But yes, there are many, the children learn best in their own mother tongue. And when we use a few phrases, or when we do get to relate to them or correlate in the language which is easy to understand, I think they learn better. But then once again, it's the management that plays a role out here.
Thank you, ma'am. Mrs. Surupa Mukherjee has shared a method by which she was embedding justice in her classroom in class 8 while discussing adolescence. There was a discussion on SDG 5 and the boys did a survey on gender equality. It was very interactive when it was discussed in class and shared. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I've got one more input from Ms. Kuwaljit Kaur. Our class 12 students have made a project on contraceptive devices to create awareness among people. Very good, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Lima Rose has shared Fiber to Fabric talks about sorter's disease. Through this concept, we teach the value of human labor and respect. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Naveen had put a comment. More awareness is needed to teachers in teaching reproductive system in classes. Many think it's a taboo to discuss.
Any sharing?
Okay, we have one more input from Miss Eleonora Vinci. When we teach acid chapters, we discuss about acid attacks on females. Yes, ma'am.
So acid attack is once again a very good topic to bring in social justice, especially where you have the gender equality SDG 5. It's a good topic. So any other comments or sharing?
A few more inputs. When we discuss about reproduction, we can explain about birth control. Yes, sex determination as social justice may be emphasized.